Welcome everyone to Karizma here. I'm so honored to have my guest today, Desiree Shank. She is an expert Shopify growth strategist and a senior program manager at Shopify. She has 19 years of digital media agency experience. She's a female founder, a solo mom, and business owner. Desiree has been mentioned in the likes of CNBC, Forbes, NerdWallet, Modern Mom as a contributor, and has pitched her former startup on national TV for funding. Desiree has helped scale and rapidly grow some of the top performing stores on Shopify Plus. She enjoys teaching startups through workshops and courses in the Shopify for Startups community. You can also find her as an instructor on 100 Million Academy and an expert panelist and educator for Single Moms Planet, and as we mentioned before, a contributor on Modern Mom. Welcome, Desiree. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, and sorry for the really long bio. That's a lot to
Well, that is, like I said, you got to own it. You got to own it because you're a woman of my own heart. We are both single moms. We are working hard. You've accomplished so much and done so much in the e-commerce and digital marketing space. So when I connected with you, a couple of weeks ago and realized we have some mutual friends and we really enjoy talking about the same content, I was like, oh, I got to interview this woman. She is such a powerhouse, and I want to dive deep into your brain and learn more and share with others how they can grow their Shopify store. So I would love to know just a little bit more about your background when it comes to e-commerce and the digital marketing space.
Yeah, of course. So I've been working at Shopify before 89% of the company, which is a pretty long time. Prior to that, I had my own startup, which you mentioned, and I got funded on national TV, which was really amazing. I built that company while being a single mom with my 2 young children, and they actually inspired me to build the company that I built. And then I eventually exited and thought, well, how can I still stay in the startup world? Because I'm so passionate about startups and be able to share my knowledge of all the things I've learned over the years with people that are just starting out now, that I wish someone would have had the time to mentor me and maybe help me avoid some of the things that you come across when you're just starting out that you might not know about.
Exactly. And you probably see it all the time in your work, and you're helping business owners constantly pivot and avoid those costly and timely mistakes. And I know that you work, hand in hand in really building up Shopify startups. And you see so many different stores and are supporting them. And I would love, for anyone who may not be aware of what Shopify is, why don't you give us just this brief overview of, what type of business Shopify is really great for? What are the benefits of using Shopify? What's the usability? Can someone use Shopify if they don't have a lot of development skills? If they're just starting out, is it expensive? Let's give everyone just like this 1-minute overview, our elevator pitch, as you will, for Shopify.
Yeah, so Shopify is really amazing, and our founder that built it has a really cool story. He started it because he had a snowboard company, and he saw that it was just so hard and expensive for him to get online to sell his product online, because you had to hire an expensive developer, you had to know code, you had to pay for hosting every month for a few $100s, and he thought there's got to be a better way. So he developed Shopify. He's a really smart person. And now our platform enables anybody, anywhere to get online and start selling, within a matter of hours. So our plans start at $29 a month. So there's really low cost to get started. We have drag and drop pre-built themes that you can just install. We have a really cool free one we just launched about a week ago called Dawn. And this is called Shopify 2.0 because it has it's called sections everywhere, which really what it means is you can drag and drop every single page. So you don't need to know code, you don't have to hire a developer, don't have to have a huge budget to start up. You could probably start with, just a few $100s to get online. Shopify is built for pretty much any style of business. You can have a product, a service, or really anything. I even build courses using Shopify as the back end. So I think I answered your question, but I want to share a little bit more about Shopify. We have over 2 million stores on our platform right now, and we serve 175 countries worldwide. So really there's no boundaries for anyone to get on. And we also are a payment processor, and we accept every kind of payment. So yeah, it's really great. And we connect to different sales channels, so you can integrate with Amazon, all your social medias, really anything out there.
Yeah, we love Shopify. I mean, it's such a massive platform and there's so many users, like you said, there's so many stores on there that any app you need, it's built already. It's got users, it's working. Any subscription service, lead generation, whatever you can think of that your store would need, basically there's an app for it. Someone has solved it. And I love about Shopify, personally, we are every day in the analytics. So every day we're going into our clients' analytics, we're looking over all sorts of things, the coupon codes, the new customer versus returning customer, average order value, sales year over year, comparing periods, conversion rates, so on and so forth. And it makes it's very user-friendly to use. We fell in love with it, back when, Facebook, like pre-apocalypse of iOS 14, but when all the events were so easy to kind of implement for Facebook and to Shopify, it was just so user-friendly. When I started e-commerce, 14 years ago, I was on Zencart, before WooCommerce existed, before Shopify existed, which, by the way, I did not know it was someone who was a snowboarder or surfer. Did you say snowboarder?
Snowboarding, yep.
Oh, that's so funny. I actually had no idea. That is hilarious to me. And I've seen, it's funny that you mentioned that. I've seen a lot of course creators start to transition to selling their digital courses on Shopify. And I know why, because the remarketing from Shopify is so easy. And I've even thought of putting the digital courses on Shopify because I teach e-commerce. Everything that I do, including lead gen for digital products, can be sold through an e-commerce platform. It absolutely can. And so trust me, I've thought so many times about putting a digital course on Shopify. I've seen Billie Jean do it, and I've seen some others do it. So how do you recommend, just out of curiosity, going a little left, but when people are putting digital courses on there, is it as if they're selling just like any other product?
Exactly. Yep. So you just set it up as a product. I use Thinkific, which integrates with Shopify. There's another course builder, and I can't think of the name at the moment, but there's two main ones that work really well at building out. And I forgot to say that we have 24/7 support. So if you ever have a question, you're not sure how to start a store or set up your page, you can chat in, call in, email in, and there's a human on the other end. We have amazing customer experience people on our team, and they're worldwide. So during the day, you might catch someone in Canada. During the evening, it's probably someone with an accent in Dublin or the UK. But yeah, so I really love that about Shopify, is that you can always find support. And we have a plethora of courses for free to learn how to set up your store, and really anything to get your store up and running to get to your first sale. And we have videos, everything that I feel like a lot of people don't know how many tools and resources we have out there.
Yeah, you have so many, you have so much content just everywhere. I mean, there's so many YouTube videos. Hey, I've had to Google it every once in a while. How do I do this with the Shopify store? And there you go, Shopify's already got the tutorial on YouTube.
Yep, exactly. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's so user-friendly, and it's never been easier. Honestly, I say this all the time. It's never been easier to build a successful business online. And we saw the COVID effect. We're recording this in late 2021, and the COVID effect where everyone was home, everyone had to shop online. A lot of brick and mortar stores had to pivot very quickly if they wanted to stay in business, and e-commerce just skyrocketed. And so a platform like Shopify made it so simple for someone who might not have that background of development or online sales to set up their store very quickly. We actually had a client who had to pivot, brick and mortar, pivot onto Shopify. In their first month, they made $17,000. Their next month they made $45,000, and it just kept going up and up from there. So talk about ease of use and quick action on Shopify.
Oh yeah, during the pandemic, I saw a lot of my neighbors that maybe were laid off, walking around the street drinking wine. But me, I have a lot of gray hair now because I think Shopify grew as if a company grew in 1 year, 10 years. So we had a lot of people onboarded. That's why we have 2 million small businesses on here right now. A lot of restaurants pivoted to have curbside pickup. Our developers behind the scenes made sure all the themes now had curbside pickup available because people needed that. So we got that built out really quick.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And I know, so, you know, I'm a marketer. I can't help it. I'm going to constantly seek out what are people searching, you know, about Shopify and about e-commerce. Where are their pain points? How could we make this really valuable for our listeners today? And the top results that would consistently come up through my SEO research was basically, how do I scale my online sales through my e-commerce store? How do I bring in more revenue on my e-commerce store or through Shopify? And so I thought you'd be a really great expert in this area because you're constantly, day in and day out, hands-on with all of your business owners, helping them scale and grow their Shopify business. So I wanted to talk to you about some of your top tips and strategies that e-commerce store owners can use and implement in order to grow their sales through their e-commerce store.
Yeah, great question. I think everyone wishes there's like a magic wand or formula that works for everybody, but I'd say it's really unique for every single business. I'd say the basic framework that everyone needs to understand when starting a business and starting to get sales is a few terms like acquisition, conversion, and retention. So when you're thinking of like digital sales, acquisition is a few different practices that all are really important to do, which I'm sure you are very familiar with. And so I don't know if your audience knows them, if I should like name out a few of like things.
Go for it, please.
Okay.
I think anything that would be helpful.
Okay, so things that would fall under acquisition would be Google ads or running Facebook ads or Instagram ads, even your SEO, which is search engine optimization, doing keyword research, content marketing is really important. So creating videos, that's really popular right now. Being on podcasts just like this, I've seen dramatic results with increasing your traffic when you're on some of these podcasts, just talking about your business. Blogs, branding, affiliate and influencer marketing is really, really important. One brand that I helped grow from 0 to 10 million in under 12 months, they had an influencer mention their brand and just like by accident, and their business went through the roof. So that is probably a huge tip. If you know an influencer, you should.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's like real influencers really work. If they're not a real influencer, it's not going to work. But if they have a true following, they're not named influencers for no reason.
Yeah,
I've seen it myself.
This worked really well because it was a clothing brand for women, and the influencer was kind of popular when I was a kid, and now she's on a lot of like the Hallmark shows, but has a huge following and like people that have followed her for a lifetime basically. So when she mentioned it or said she shopped from this online retailer, everyone was like, well, if she does, we love her, we're gonna go shop here. So that is another trick tip, not a trick.
That's right. I'm actually going to, and funny, just not to cut you off, but I'm going to mention, or I'm going to be interviewing a woman who is in that exact industry in how to get your products into celebrities' hands. And her products have been in, Ocean's 11, in Julia Roberts' hands, and Reese Witherspoon, and so many other like celebrities and influencers. And now she teaches other brands how to do it, and it's incredible. Her results are just insanity. So I may have to also connect the two of you. Yeah.
Share that back.
Yes, I will. I
always know how to do that.
Yes.
And then I'd say the next framework to kind of think about is conversion. And what's really important with conversion is your UX, which means your user experience. So when people land on your site, what does that customer journey look like? Is it really easy for them to check out on your site, or do they get stuck someplace? So that's really important to look at. Promotions, so what kind of offers you can provide that entice people to want to check out or give you their email and sign up for your email marketing. Another conversion tip is remarketing and retargeting, as well as upselling and cross-selling. All of those are really important. I tell all of the people that I help and mentor on Shopify to make sure they have a upsell and cross-sell in their cart, because it works. And then retention marketing is the last one that's kind of, I'd say, really important to know about. And that's like your loyalty program. Maybe you want to refer a friend. And then also your email marketing, which email marketing actually applies to all three, but it's really important with retention as well. So all those are, I guess, basic understandings I would share at the beginning. Another thing I like to mention is when you are building an online store, that I kind of use the analogy that you're building a mousetrap, and you want to build the best mousetrap you can possibly build before you bring the mice. So the mice would be bringing the traffic. So make sure you have a pop-up to capture email. I know they look really annoying, but they work. And you want to make sure that pop-up doesn't show immediately, because everyone's like knee-jerk reaction is to close out of it right away. So you want to make sure that customers interacted with your page about 50%, or put that on a delay so that they don't just close it out and they really do see your offer after they're interested with interacting with your brand. So those would be kind of my tips for just starting out.
I think those are great, like the classic acquire, convert, retain loop that every business needs to really focus on. And I love how you mentioned, for me, website conversion rate optimization is a gigantic topic, because it's probably the most overlooked, and it's actually probably the most affordable. If you need to kind of do this on your own, if you're working with an agency to do website CRO, they can charge 6 figures or more because they realize the value. If you can just increase your conversion rate by just like 0.5%, which is hard. It's not that easy to do. But that could be 6 figures or more in additional revenue every year. And we're not talking about running extra paid ads or extra emails, or we're just literally talking about what you had mentioned, the user experience or the pop-up or, the promotions, whatever that looks like, in order to get them to convert. And so I love that you brought that up. For me, it's a huge passion. And you said a lot of really good things that I wanted to talk about in terms of the apps that might help, business owners on Shopify do some of these things, whether it's pop-ups or refer a friend or, UX experience or reviews, for example. Do you have any favorite apps that you kind of go to? Not that we're promoting any of them, but just, we all know in the industry, like some of them we just know and love and trust, and we're just always recommending. Is there anything in particular that you see really works well?
Yeah, so I'll preface this that I'm not affiliated with any apps. Shopify does have apps that are free though, that are amazing. And I wanted to go back on conversion. It is so important. I love all of your teachings about how to increase conversion and just the little things you can do that make dramatic results. And one of those is speed, the speed of your site. So making sure that your images are uploaded at the right size. And Shopify is really cool because we have a speed score in your admin, and you can see how well your store is performing. And there's some really great free sites that can help you understand your speed. So like Google has page speed test. I think you can just Google it, and it's a developer site that you can put in your web page address, and it'll tell you what's slowing down your site. So that's really important. That's not an app, but I'll go back to apps. So I would say for your apps to do an email capture, I really love PRIVY. It's PRIVY. And I know you already know about it, but that's great. For email marketing, I always recommend Klaviyo. And I would say for reviews, Yotpo is the best, but it's very expensive for some people just starting out. So Shopify does have a free review app that you can install. For rewards and loyalty, I love smile.io. Another thing I want to mention, all of these third-party apps that I'm mentioning, you can call their developers and talk to them and ask them like, hey, can I get a demo? How will this look on my store? How can I use your app? And they would be so happy to give you a demo. So don't feel like you might not know how it's going to be when you install it. If you go to the Shopify App Store, we have over probably 6,000 apps on there, and all of them have a contact email and phone number that you can reach out directly to those app companies. So that's something I feel like a lot of people don't know or utilize.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people too. I mean, app developers will create, just like Shopify during the COVID shutdown, where you said, well, hey, we were hearing from our users, they really needed local pickup for restaurants. And so we created it. And the same is true in the App Store. When you connect with developers and you're using their product and you're giving them feedback, they are definitely open to making more features for you, hearing your feedback, fixing glitches, getting on a call. I completely agree. They are total normal human beings like you and me. I've been on calls with them before and they've walked me through their entire app and how to use it. So that is a great suggestion and resource.
Yeah, and same with Shopify. A lot of the things that we built is for our customers. So they'll call in and say, hey, we really want to be able to edit orders. We didn't have that functionality before, and it was a really big merchant frustration. So we ended up building it. We have thousands of developers behind the scenes that listen to everybody's requests. And we actually upvote like how many people call in about a certain feature. And if we get enough people calling in about it, the likelihood of us developing it is pretty high.
Ooh, good insider tip. So if you want something changed, you gotta take action and let them know, you know? And so the more people that request something, the more likely it is to be developed with Shopify. Well, I wanna put in a few requests, can I?
Yeah, send them with me. I'll enter them in. Our motto at Shopify is to make commerce better for everyone. You'll see that all across everything as kind of our motto. And it is true. We do. We listen to all of our customers. And then back to apps. Sorry, I might have ADD. But I would say PostScript for SMS marketing is really popular right now. SMS is great because people all have their phones and maybe check that more so than other places. Another app I really love, and my brother actually works for them, and it's called Pledge. And their app is called Give and Grow on Shopify's App Store. And it's a way to have charitable contributions and an impact calculator to show your customers your personal impact for different causes. And I'd say now more than ever, it's great to show that you give back and you support different causes and charities. Because people probably will more likely shop from you rather than a store that does not have that.
Absolutely. We had that conversation the other day, how people just want to do business with people. They want to do business with brands who have a human element, whose value systems align with their own. And so gone are the days of, getting the cheapest soap bar, from the box store. Now it's like, I want to go to the farmer's market. I want to meet the maker. I want to learn about supporting their efforts and all the, organic ingredients that are going into the soap bar. And I'm willing to pay 5 times more because I want to support what they're doing in their cause. And I like them as humans. And so I think it's really important. And I love the visualization of give back. So we're also moving our clients, and we had this conversation the other day, to having a visualization like Tom's, where it's like, a shoe for a shoe, right? And we have another client who does sunglasses, and it's every pair of sunglasses donates a week of school to a girl. And so I love the visualization of this is where your money's going versus 1% of profits is going to this. I like the tangibility of it, and that is definitely a buying modality. People buy based on many different factors, not just price. And so that can be one of them. And I also love that you mentioned, in full transparency, we're a PRIVY partner and we're a Klaviyo partner because we absolutely love both of those platforms, Klaviyo for email, PRIVY for increasing website conversions, landing pages, pop-ups. And so you can actually learn more about those if you go to bit.ly.com/Klaviyo marketing or bit.ly.com/PRIVY marketing and get on there, and we get a little bit of benefits for anyone who signs up through those links. We're pretty close with both of their teams. So I definitely agree with that. Yapo, such good suggestions. Pretty much all the apps that we use. It's like our tech stack too for all of our clients. Yeah. Okay. So you're in. So those are really great tips, and you're kind of in the quote unquote weeds with these business owners. And so I know that you see some mistakes that people make. We'll call them lessons. I don't like to call them mistakes, but learning lessons. Now, can we skyrocket everyone's success listening to this today and help them avoid some of these common mistakes you see, startup e-commerce stores making?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I think expectation setting and being realistic with my startups, because I think there's this false attitude that if you just start a store, you're going to be a millionaire. And it's really not true. So I like to just be real with everyone. Like, there are a ton of successful stores. I see them every single day, but it's so much work and so much time and effort. And I think being okay with failing, because you're gonna fail along the way. And I feel like people get really hard on themselves, and I'd say that just know that you can have that success, but it probably won't come overnight. So I guess most common mistake, I don't know if that really answers it, but it's just like your attitude first coming into it. And then second would be to make sure you have enough time, whether it's your side hustle or your full-time gig, having good time management and really reaching out to the right people and mentors or tutors or whoever is in your network that can help you. I know that some people, they can't hire people right away. And I guess I'm not really answering this really well, but I
know some of, going back to my starting days, every business owner makes mistakes. It's just how we learn. That's just how we get through life. And so the most successful people, they often say, have failed the most because they've learned how to pick themselves up quickly, dust themselves off, and keep moving forward. And some of the mistakes that I see, or the things that people could avoid before they invest a lot of time or effort into a business, me being guilty of some of these, is doing proper market research. Do people actually want this product? And you can go, and how do we find that out? Well, do some SEO searches. There's some free tools for SEO. Are people actually searching for this? Is it actually selling? Are there a lot of reviews online about this product? Is there a way that you can improve it based on some of the pain points other people have? That would be one of the things. The other thing I think that would probably save people a lot of time and effort and scale them quicker would be focusing on lead generation a lot sooner. So it's interesting because I think that e-commerce store owners, they don't think that they're a lead generation business, but they absolutely are. It is all lead generation. That's a sales funnel. Regardless of what you're selling, you have to build a know, like, and trust. Unless we have something like a fidget spinner or something that's very inexpensive, that's just a quick one-off, and we don't need to do that. But you need to be focused on building your email list. You need to be focused on SEO. Now, these are things that you can do relatively inexpensively, because what you need is traffic, and you need a way to reach out to your customer base via email for free versus, let's say, paid ads when you're first starting out. So if I were to recommend maybe 2 things that could help someone, would be really research your product to market fit and what your ideal customer wants before you invest all this time and money into a new product or a new website or a new business. And then once you get that up and running, you really need to focus on list building, lead gen, and traffic at that point.
Yeah, I would add to that with the product market fit, it shouldn't be something that you necessarily love. it's got to be something that everybody loves. So a lot of times people put a product out there because of personal preference, where really it should be something that is for your target audience, and really making sure, like you said, that there's a need for it and you're solving a problem. And then lead generation, absolutely. Like building a community before you even launch could really help you out with lead generation too. I found that works really well, that building like a following on social media or a community on Facebook where you have a group of moms, let's say, and now you've got thousands of people already having conversations, and you're like, hey, why don't you support me with my new business idea? What do you think about it? Ask them questions. I guess that could also be another tip, is using a survey tool to ask people for their insights of like, hey, is this something that's solving your problem? Or do you like this? Or I'd say another mistake a lot of startups that I see have is they don't ask their customers for insights or anything like that, which can really help give you a customer's perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, one of our clients who's, an 8-figure client constantly is running polls for free in their Instagram stories. Which one do you like better? And you know what they do? They make the one that everyone votes on. It's just give your customers what they want. So, I mean, there's so many free strategies in which you can do this. The biggest thing I'd recommend is don't ask your best friend, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your sisters, because they love you. They're not going to want to break your heart. You need to ask your ideal customer base who actually have no idea what you do and what your brand's all about. They're the ones to go to and really see, would they buy this product? What do they want? What would they love to see improved about it, right? So those are all really great tips. And on that end too, you probably see a lot of Shopify businesses that just out of the gate just seem to scale. Like you said, 0 to 10 million, female fashion brand. The hack there, the strategy was they got their product in an influencer's hands, and that really helped. So you may be on the forefront of seeing what the difference may be between a really successful Shopify store that just kind of knocks it out of the park very quickly and others that seem kind of stuck and may struggle. Do you have any tips that you've seen that successful Shopify store owners that are able to scale their business quickly are doing that you see just work?
Yeah, I think people that really scale quickly have passion and grit, and they just have so much energy to give towards their brand, and they try everything, and they listen to the feedback that people give them and make those changes, and then they jump after every opportunity that comes their way. So there's a brand that we were helping scale and grow in 6 months, and they started at $20,000 a month, which is pretty good. I mean, they're doing all right, but they wanted to do more. So at the end of 6 months, we got them to $220,000 a month. And what they did, like I said before, there's not a magic formula, but they tried everything we suggested. They listened to our feedback. We're experts, we're mentors, so we can tell them things to try, and they did. And what they really found that moved the needle was their email marketing. Getting the email marketing dialed in and the flows right, and having it personalized as much as possible. And they implemented a subscription model, which they didn't have before, because that's great, because now you're getting people coming and reordering from you really easily. And an app for that, I guess I could tell you that an app that we recommend is Recharge for subscriptions. Another thing that's really popular that also worked for them is payment installments. So especially now, people might not have extra cash flow. So giving people a really easy way to break up their payment into 4 equal parts. So Shopify launched payment installments. You can add that to your tech stack. And what else did they do? They went on with a UX expert, and he did a live teardown of their store. And that helped them tremendously, because that puts your store in somebody else's lens that's an expert that can show you like what converts, what color that button should be, because that button is really important, or above the fold, which is what people see right away. Does that represent your brand? Do people know what you sell right the second they land on your site? A lot of stores, I guess I could add that to another mistake, is people put a really great image for their main, we call it a hero image, so the main image on your site, but that might not represent what you're selling, and there might not be a call to action. People don't know what to do when they land there. So having that teardown helped them a lot. Installing the right apps, like the ones you mentioned, they all help you in some little way that just inches up your conversions. And another cool app that Shopify just launched is called the Shop app, which helps with the delivery of packages. It's like an Uber. You can see your package kind of going through the US or wherever you are, coming to your door. And my daughter will have, let's say, ordered something. She's like, look, Mom, my package is like 2 cities over. It's really close. Do you think it's gonna get here today? And I'm like, it might. Like, it's really fun and interactive. And the Shop app, we've built it out so you can actually have your brand's presence on there. You can shop from multiple brands in one shopping cart. It's really, really great. And so I would say that's something to add, and learn about how to market on the Shop app. It's a brand new sales channel for us. So there's not a lot of stores on there right now. You can customize the details of your shop profile. There's actual like insights and analytics through that app to see how well you're doing. You can manage the products and how they appear on that app. And you can run marketing automations as well. So it's kind of like when you should get on something early.
Jump on. I know usually the early
adopters.
Yes, that was the word. The early adopters really tend to benefit. I agree. And I love everything you said. This is why you are a woman of my heart. Everything you say aligns with everything that we teach. So we definitely believe in website audits, and we do those too, because you have to. There is, like I said, UX, website conversion rate optimization, is probably the most overlooked way in which you can increase your revenue on your store. And that's why some of these agencies can charge 6 figures just to do these things, because they know how valuable it is. And email marketing, this is why we're a full service agency, because we don't see, it doesn't mean we're generalists in every area. It means that we have experts in every area. Email marketing should account for at least 30%, somewhere between like 30 to let's say 50%. If it's more than that, then that's problematic. If it's less than that, then you could improve it, but right around 30 to 50%. And the ROI, we were meeting with our Klaviyo account. We have a couple different, Klaviyo partner managers that help our team out, and he's pulling figures, and it's like 60x ROI on our clients' email marketing campaigns and flows, because it's so powerful and it's such a small cost, same with SMS marketing. And the other thing you said, well, let's go back real quick for that client that went to 200,000, went from 20,000 to about 200,000 when you were working with them as they started up. Did they spend money on ads as well? Did they advertise much, or was it more, some other things?
They did get into ads. I don't know what their ad budget was, honestly, but I want to say they hired an agency to help them. But I don't want to say that contributed to them growing so massively. It was mainly the UX and the email marketing, and having the subscription and really dialing in what that subscription model looked like for their customers, and making it really easy for people to sign up and retain them on that subscription model. So I would say that was the primary focus, and really honing in on their tech stack and removing apps they weren't using, and only really keeping the ones that contributed to their sales. They really dove into their reporting and analytics and understanding that better. because I feel like a lot of people starting out don't understand KPIs and what you should track. And that's another really important thing to know. And another analogy I like to use is, let's say you're trying to lose weight, and let's say I want to lose 20 pounds. And if every day I just kept eating French fries and hamburgers and I never weighed myself and I never changed anything, do you think I would lose 20 pounds? Probably not. But if I went on the scale every day and I knew what my weight was to begin with, and I was like, all right, my goal is 20 pounds. I'm gonna weigh myself every single day, and I'm gonna start eating broccoli instead of hamburgers. And I'm gonna change these little habits and drink more water, and then weigh myself at the end of that 30-day period, let's say. I changed some things, I probably would have lost some weight. Maybe not the 20 pounds, but I would have been on that path. So I look at your analytics and KPIs the same way. If you're not looking at them, you're probably not changing anything or doing anything to benefit yourself. But if you start tracking them every day or every week and learning how to manipulate those numbers and make little changes, like, hey, I put a pop-up for emails, now I'm doing this. Like, oh, I added a customer service app. I really like Gorgeous for that. So then now I have people like not reaching out so much about different returns or questions. Like if you have a customer service help, it can reduce your returns and exchanges and little things like that. Or even adding like a frequently asked question page, that would reduce people reaching out to your customer service. So just tiny little changes you can do here and there, and you'll see those results over time, and then you'll track them and know how to change things so that your sales go up or your average order value goes up. I guess another tip I would say for increasing your average order value is having free shipping as incentive if you hit a dollar amount threshold. So let's say you have free shipping on $100. Well, you should actually figure out what dollar amount works for your product and store. So $100 is probably not gonna work for everybody, but figuring that amount out and then knowing that people will add a little bit more to get that free shipping incentive will always increase your average order values.
Yeah.
So all those things.
Those are great tips. And kind of going back to PRIVY has, and there's many apps that can do this, but they have a dynamic, free shipping bar. So it's kind of like as you get closer and closer, you're $20 away, you're $15 away, just add one item. So they do those types of things, which really help improve conversions. And just adding some of their elements, we'll go back in because we definitely benchmark and split test. Most of our clients will increase their conversion rate by 50% within like the first day of getting PRIVY on their website or some sort of kind of lead gen pop-up. So these things are massively important for your e-commerce store. And I may be putting you on the spot a little bit, but do you have a specific conversion rate that you like to see? And every business is different, and it always depends on whether you're running ads or not running ads. But do you have a specific kind of conversion rate benchmark that you like your Shopify store owners to be hitting with their stores?
So I used to have like a little conversion rate benchmark that I would share, but it's so different per each store and like what are they selling? Because let's say they're selling mattresses, that's really expensive. Their conversion rate will be much different than some like a consumable product that people will order more frequently. I would hate to say something and somebody might feel like, oh, I'm not hitting that.
Yeah.
It's so different for everybody else. And I think people can Google like what is a great conversion rate for your industry, and that might help. We do have a report, or actually I think I saw it on the Shopify Instagram page, per industry what your conversion rate should be. That would be something I would reference.
Yeah, that I totally agree. It's very specific to each store. I like to guide, and it's just a rough guide, but if a smaller business is coming to us, they don't really run any paid traffic. So everyone who's coming to them is really organic. They haven't invested even much in SEO. Then, I like to see before they even start running paid ads, at least 3% conversion rate or more, because as soon as you run paid traffic, your conversion rate's going to drop, and we don't want to drop that too low. And if you are running paid traffic, I mean, I would love to see you, if you're a larger store, at 2%, that would be amazing to me, or more. Higher is better, of course. And I have benchmarks too for returning customers, where we want them to be. If your returning customer rate is too high, I would be concerned that we're not growing your business. If it's too low, then why are people not coming back? Are we doing enough launches? Are we doing enough emails, right? So every single, kind of value there. And for me, my kind of magic number is about 35% return customer rate is what I like to see. But again, so depends on the industry. And it kind of goes back to that question about product to market fit and doing your research and your audience, because we need to make sure that whatever we're launching with, it's not a one-off product, that we have reasons to continue to launch and grow the brand and new products. And, Skincare 2.0 this year has this new technology. And so we're constantly working with our clients on how do we bring people back? Well, we bring them back through, paid marketing, through email marketing, through product launches, promotions, sales, content marketing, all the things that you touched on. And I loved, the one thing I just wanted to mention too was, I find one of the best things that I always recommend to people is, you can Google it, top 10 e-commerce, websites in the US. You're going to find it's like Target, Macy's, Home Depot, these types of stores, Amazon. And I want you to look for patterns. Just look for patterns. What is similar about all of these? It's like being a little kid and playing that game. What's different? What's similar, right? And you're literally looking for patterns, and you will find certain things that they all have. For example, all their logos are on the left. All of them have a large search bar, that you can type in and search for your product. People who search are much more likely, like 12x times more likely to convert on your website. So once you start looking at these big stores or other big brands in your industry, you're going to start realizing these are things that you should probably be doing too on your website. So I loved all of these suggestions. The subscription, if it works for your niche too, we definitely recommend that as best we can, as long as you can fill the inventory. And the other way to do that is piggyback it with your email marketing. If they didn't sign up for subscription yet, but they bought this product, and the purchase cycle is 90 days, make sure you get an email out to them 70 days after the purchase saying, hey, you may need to reorder this, you might run out soon. So you can build that in, like you said with that client. They were able to get the automation and the flows really tuned in. Now they're making money while they sleep. It's just on automation.
Yeah, and that's what we all want to do, is make money while we sleep.
Oh, totally. Where do I sign up? Well, that was the power of that's where I learned everything about e-commerce. That's when I fell in love with it, 14 years ago. Is I had the e-commerce store, and I would wake up in the morning to, at the time, $500 or something, that I made overnight. And to me, the power, the eye-opening experience of making money while I slept never left. And so when people would say to me, well, why don't you pound the pavement and go door to door and sell your stuff to all these boutiques? I'm like, why would I do that when I made $500 last night while I slept? I'm not going to do that. Like, I have access to the entire world, through my store, and it was working. And so there is so much power in making money while you sleep. So can't agree.
Yeah, I love that. Like, you can make your business global when you're online. So I think what I learned the most during the pandemic was a lot of local businesses had to get online and scale quickly, and they were only selling locally prior, and now they're selling globally. And I don't think they really understood the magnitude of what e-commerce could do for their business. So I love hearing success stories like that.
Yeah, and I see them all the time, and I agree. I mean, look into it, research it. Shopify is such an amazing tool. We definitely push heavily for Shopify and certain other marketing platforms for our clients in order to make sure that they're successful, in the growth of their business. So you shared so many wonderful tips and value bombs. I'm so appreciative, Desiree. I know you see it all in everything that you do. And if someone, wants to connect with you, wants to learn more about Shopify or connect with you personally, how would they do that?
Sure. So I would say for sure go to shopify.com and sign up. We have a 14-day free trial. You can just poke around, install apps. You can install themes. If you don't publish them, you don't have to pay for them. So just see if it's something you're interested in. And then I am on Instagram at Desiree Shank. Feel free to find me there and I'll try and help you. I don't know if I have them.
That sounds great. I mean, we'll put all the things,
but I'll send them to you.
Well, I always have fun. I mean, this is my jam, talking about how do we scale e-commerce. I mean, some women can talk about like shoes all day, and I could just talk about marketing and growing business all day. I don't know. It's just my thing. It's my jam. So I'm so appreciative of your time. You've been such a resource for all of us. We'll put all of the links in the notes so everyone can find you and connect with all these tools that we talked about. And I'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. Sorry, my dog just got mad for a second.
That's okay. We don't mind. We're dog lovers here. All right, Desiree, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.